Once you start getting away from the more so main characters of the Justice League, villains start to become a lot more scarce for every particular character, which then makes these Sinister Six videos just a little bit harder to make. Even though I did get it done for Green Arrow, this was arguably the hardest one I had to do. A lot of Green Arrow villains are very unknown, they're hardly used. Green Arrow also suffers from a situation of borrowing other villains from other characters. So there are a couple of characters in these teams that are shared amongst other heroes, but I did my best to keep them centered on mercenary characters. Now, with that being said, let's get into the first team. With Team 1, I placed Merlin, Clock King, Onomatopoeia, Brick, and Limelight, or Lime and Light. The idea I had for this team is actually one big mystery that Green Arrow would have to uncover and figure out the truth of why all 6 of these people have come together to bring him down. A lot of the plans for the team would be coming down to Merlin, Clock King, and Onomatopoeia. Brick would be used as the heavy. Lime and Light would be used as almost a cannon fodder. They would of course be there to fight Green Arrow. They wouldn't be the characters that would matter in the bigger picture of things. I mean, let alone in actual DC comic history, they were created in 2011 and the last time they were used was 2012. I'm gonna shorten his name because I don't want to say it over and over again. I'm gonna call him Ono. I imagine there would be a string of murders being committed by Ono, and essentially what would happen is Green Arrow has to solve them. He ends up finding out that the mastermind of this team is Clock King. He's been pulling the strings and doing everything in an orderly fashion and keeping up at the precise second, the time of how all of this plays out. And then you'd end up finding out something else, like Merlin has the backing of the League of Shadows, or a section of them. Maybe you could do something where the whole plan of this team is to actually take over Star City, and Green Arrow has to stop that from happening. And then I always give you the character who might end up turning on this team. There's a character that might end up saying, hey, we're doing the wrong thing. They, as I always say, grow a conscience. And in this particular team, I actually think it's 2. It's gonna be Lime and Light. I feel like when they would find out the true nature of what this team's purpose is, they would want no part in it. These characters have maybe been used once or twice. We gotta give them something here. Team 2 is Count Vertigo, Constantine Draken, China White, Prometheus, Richard Dragon, of course the Ricardo Diaz version, and Bamboo Monkey. Every single person on this team, except for maybe Prometheus, is a leader of some sort of group, country, sector. They're a leader of something. Now, Prometheus may have been a Justice League villain, a Batman villain, but he has also quarreled with Green Arrow as well, and I think it's okay to use this type of character. A lot of people like to describe him as the literal definition of an evil version of Batman, and basically what you're going to get from him in this team is he's going to download every single movement and trait and skill that every other person on this team has. So now it's going to feel like you might be fighting 2 Vertigos, or you might be fighting 2 Bamboo Monkeys or China Whites, along with the skills that he has himself and along with the skills that he can also steal from Green Arrow. The only idea I had for this team was kind of similar to the first team, was almost a Star City takeover, but you could also do something where maybe Star City is home to something super valuable, let's say, and all 6 of these people may want it, or at the very least 5, and then they hire Prometheus to be part of this team to help them get it even easier. I think the leader of this team would be Count Vertigo. You could make an argument for any other character being the leader. Even Constantine Draken could be a good leader as well. But when it comes to the character who turns their back on the Sinister Six and maybe inadvertently helps Green Arrow, I actually don't think it's anybody on this team. Or I should actually say, I think it's everybody. And my reasoning for this is because all of these people are leaders of their own clans, conglomerates, or like I said, even countries. And if the goal is to obtain something valuable, none of these people are going to want to share it with the other. They're going to want sole domination over that particular product or whatever it may be. And this team is simply just waiting to crumble on itself. Team 3, I went with Deadshot, Cupid, Komodo, Cheshire, Deathstroke, and Killer Moth. This team to me was almost like the all mercenary team. You could actually treat this Sinister Six very similar to how the villains were treated towards Batman in Arkham Origins. Just a team who is hired by one mutual benefactor to go after Green Arrow and to either bring him in alive or dead. And that is exactly what I would do. The mutual benefactor as well wouldn't be a seventh person. It would actually be a person on this team. It would end up being Cupid, and an idea I have is basically she's so madly in love with Green Arrow, she needs to find a way to get him closer to her. She needs to find a way to take him for herself, and she hires all of these really deadly mercenaries to join together to take out Green Arrow once and for all. The rule would be take him in alive because she particularly wants him for love. A sick, twisted love. This team would not be easy, and you could make an argument the other teams wouldn't either, but we're looking at people like Komodo, Cheshire, Deathstroke, some of the best fighters in the DC universe. Could Green Arrow really do this on his own? Maybe he would need to call in Black Canary for some help. Komodo also has mastery in archery. Deadshot never misses, and just because Deathstroke is a well-rounded character in all his skills, that doesn't mean he misses either. He's a really good shot. And then, you know, there's Killer Moth with his bug spray. I think there's a couple of ways this team could fall apart. Very simply, the team could find out that Cupid was the benefactor and that she's doing this literally for her love of Green Arrow, and the rest of the team just finds this stupid and says, all right, we are out of here. This is ridiculous. That's not what we signed up for. Another way this could all fall apart is Cupid's master plan is now clear to everyone, and everyone decides, screw this is stupid, we'll still work as a team, but if we get our hands on him, Killer Moth, Cheshire, Deadshot, Komodo, we're gonna kill him. If Cupid gets her hands on him, then she can decide to do with him as she pleases. But I have this idea that maybe Deadshot does grow a conscience in this entire process. Deadshot nowadays is not completely bad, he's neutral, and I'm pretty sure there's even a continuity out there where Green Arrow and Deadshot almost have a friendship with one another. So I just decided to go with Deadshot as the person who maybe ends up helping Green Arrow in the process. Now, as for Team 4, which is my particular team for Green Arrow Sinister Six, I placed Everyman, Cupid, Prometheus, Clock King, Onomatopoeia, and Camarrouge. There are a lot of things you could potentially do with this team up, but the particular story I have in mind is all led by Everyman, who has this vendetta against Oliver Queen Green Arrow and wants to get rid of him once and for all, but ends up hiring a bunch of different people who he thinks would give him the best advantage to do so. Clock King, his strategic tactical mind, being able to plan everything within seconds, being able to overcalculate and predict things to happen before they do happen. Prometheus, it's a given, the best copycat out there. Ono, I don't really have the biggest reason why, other than the fact that I just simply really like the character and wanted him a part of my team. But if I have to give a reason, I think it would maybe be more so a vendetta against superheroes who are non-meta. They don't have any powers, and he wants to get rid of them for some strange reason. Camarrouge, I just went with her because she is a mercenary for hire. She has a suit that allows her to go invisible. I feel like Everyman would be able to take advantage of her skill set to help him take down Green Arrow. Now, the particular story I have in mind is exactly what happens to every man in the comic books. Lex Luthor chooses Hannibal Bates as his first test subject for the Everyman Project. It ends up giving him shape-shifting abilities, and then over his villainous career, he had many run-ins with many superheroes in DC, but most importantly, ones with Green Arrow and Black Canary, where he literally tried to kill them on their wedding day. After thinking they killed Everyman ends up waking up in a dark alleyway where he has the appearance of Oliver Queen. And he suffers some sort of amnesia where he believes he is the actual Oliver Queen Green Arrow. He maybe comes across Cupid, who also believes he's the real Green Arrow. And what they set off to do is they find the other Green Arrow who actually is the real one. And they basically have to kill him for ruining every man's life, who believes the real Green Arrow has taken his face, taken his company, taken his life. And the story would start off with Everyman actually thinking he is the real Oliver Queen. But then as it would go on, as he's recruiting people for this Sinister Six, that's where he would maybe come to a revelation that, oh, I'm somebody else, my memories are coming back to me, and I do have a vendetta against the real Oliver Queen. I want his skill set, I want his money, I want his company, I want his life. So he keeps this facade going. And then, believe it or not, the one character I think who would turn on this team and assist Green Arrow in the process would actually be Cupid when she finds out that Everyman is fake Arrow, or Dark Arrow as he once went by in the comic books. Basically, her reasoning is because she fell in love with the wrong man. She thought it was the real Oliver Queen. So now, to show and profess her love for the real Oliver Queen, she's going to join him to destroy Dark Arrow, which really will not obtain the real Oliver Queen's love in the end, but hey, he'll take help where he can get it. So there you have it, everyone. 4 separate Sinister Six teams for the character of Green Arrow. It was a little hard to come up with this many different characters, considering not many of his villains are as well known as other characters, but I still found a way to power through it. So now, leave in the comments below who would be part of your Sinister Six for Green Arrow, and also leave in the comments below if there's another character in DC you'd like me to handle their Sinister Six for. I really don't know how many more I can do, but I will try my best. But with that being said, that's all I have for you on this one, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.